What happens in the locker room should stay there. But some people love drama.
Los Angeles is burning, and the Lakers are staring down the barrel of a controversy that threatens to rip the very fabric of the NBA apart. Sources deep inside the arena are leaking the unthinkable. LeBron James and Luka Doncic just threw down behind closed doors. Why? Because the king just faced a reality he swore was impossible. Luka didn't just touch down in LA to play ball. He walked in and decapitated the hierarchy, seizing the crown before his bags were even unpacked. The second Luka's sneakers hit the hardwood, the tectonic plates shifted. For 6 years, Bron was the alpha, the final word. Now, he's shouting into a void while the organization pivots to a new frequency. Luka is the signal now, and if you missed the changing of the guard, look at the tunnel. Rob Pelinka didn't just walk past LeBron, he looked right through him to chase after Doncic. The camera caught it all, the disbelief etched on James's face. The electricity in the city has changed currents. The throne isn't just shaking, it is being dismantled underneath him. Doncic is the captain now, and James feels the phantom limb of his lost authority. Buckle up, because we are dissecting every split second, from that tunnel snub to the explosion that rocked the locker room. You think you know NBA drama, you have absolutely no idea what is coming. Erase the narrative that Bron still pulls the strings. That era is dead and buried. Watch the body language, watch the suits upstairs. The entire solar system now orbits around Luka Doncic. He is the architect of the offense, the clutch gene, the first look in the huddle, the guy soaking up the adoration, the daps, and the blinding spotlight that used to be LeBron's exclusive property. Stop calling it hearsay. Look at the tape, check the box scores. Luka is stacking triple-doubles, draining circus shots, and somehow elevating the entire roster in ways we haven't seen since the Showtime era. LeBron is still getting his numbers, sure, but the vibe? It's undeniable. There is a new sheriff patrolling these streets, and he's wearing number 77. The writing isn't just on the wall, it is being screamed from the rafters if you are actually watching. It is the worst-kept secret in Hollywood. The front office has mortgaged the next 10 years on the back of the Slovenian sensation. Scroll the timeline. It is all Luka magic, Luka screaming, Luka mic'd up. Meanwhile, the King's highlight reel is looking suspiciously thin. The algorithm has chosen its new favorite son. Even the OGs, the legends Bron worshipped as a kid, are singing a different tune, crowning Luka as the torchbearer of the league's future. And the kicker? All this disrespect is happening while the chosen one is still suiting up in purple and gold. James knew Luka was next up, but he never anticipated the coup would happen this rapidly, this loudly, and with such brutal totality. So let's be clear. Luka isn't just a co-star sharing the marquee. He is the evolution. He is the timeline. And for the first time in 20 years, LeBron James looks like an outsider on his own squad, feeling the sting of rejection he has never known. That desperate need to be the man is exactly why he torched Cleveland back in 2010. But hold on, because this gets so much darker, we need to unpack the trade mechanics, the suspicious timing, and the moment Bron realized his crown had been melted down and recast for Luka. When the Woj bomb hit Luka Doncic to LA for Anthony Davis and changed the basketball world, didn't just gasp, it flatlined. Everyone said relax, but are you kidding me? This wasn't a swap. This was an extinction-level event that nobody predicted. We are talking about a generational talent, a perennial MVP candidate in his absolute prime, getting shipped from Dallas to the City of Angels. Deals of this magnitude are mythological. And the second the ink dried, the fallout was instantaneous and absolutely hysterical. Twitter crashed, analysts screamed, former champs lost their composure. It was arguably the most volatile transaction in the history of the sport. Even Luka was rattled. He told reporters the call felt like a fever dream, like someone was pulling a twisted prank on him. The man looked visibly shaken, tearing up over leaving the only NBA home he had ever known in Texas. Then, snap, he is LA property. And let's be real, the Laker faithful didn't just welcome him, they rolled out the red carpet. It was like they were starving for a messiah. And then Luka walked in. Sure, losing AD hurt. But getting prime Luka? That is a deal with the devil you make every time. That secures the bag for the next 15 years. How can you not lose your mind over acquiring Luka Doncic? But here is the twist. By the time he strutted into that introductory press conference, the subliminal message was loud and clear. Rob Pelinka and the front office weren't playing it cool. They were practically foaming at the mouth with excitement. Pelinka spoke of Luka like he was the Holy Grail, the singular centerpiece of the franchise's destiny, effectively signaling that the Lakers were going all in on a hard pivot. And the timing? That is where the chaos truly begins to fester. Right when this blockbuster dropped, LeBron was sidelined, nursing a nagging left calf and foot injury that kept him in street clothes to start the season. We are talking about a durability machine breaking down for the first time in decades. Call it bad luck, call it fate, but that injury left the King powerless to defend his territory just as the franchise bet the house on the new kid. The timing was absolutely brutal. And when the mics were finally shoved in LeBron's face, his reaction said everything he didn't want to admit. He straight up confessed he thought the trade was a hoax. He couldn't process that Davis was actually gone. He claimed it didn't hit him until he saw Luka in the gold armor. On camera, he played the good soldier, acting like he had zero beef with the move. I was out to dinner with the fam, phone blows up, and honestly, the first time I heard it, I thought it was fake news. 100%. At first, the world laughed it off. A hoax. A viral prank. Just noise in the system. LeBron James? He actually welcomed the thought of a heavy hitter joining his ranks, but he never saw the knife coming. He had no clue how quickly the loyalty would dissolve and shift to Luka Doncic. And just like that, the ink was dry on the most explosive deal in modern basketball history. A trade meant to fix Dallas became a total demolition of the hierarchy in Los Angeles. The spotlight ripped away from the King, the fans lost their minds, and the front office? They didn't just pivot. They completely turned their backs on the past. Suddenly, the man who defined the Lakers' identity found himself in a nightmare scenario, playing for a franchise, screaming loud and clear that he is no longer the alpha dog. Now, buckle up, because this is where the story gets ugly. When Luka Doncic touched down in LA, it wasn't just a roster swap, it was an earthquake. It felt like someone took the locker room culture and set it on fire. Barely 2 weeks later, the silence broke. Insider reports started leaking, painting a picture of a dynasty in chaos. The vibe in Los Angeles hadn't just changed, it had turned toxic. One voice cut through the noise, Jovan Buha, the insider who sees everything. He dropped a bombshell. Inside the organization, fear is taking over. Frustration is mounting. Uncertainty is spreading. And players are looking around asking, who are we even playing for anymore? To understand why this cuts so deep for LeBron, you have to look at the empire he built. This is a man who doesn't just play, he rules. Every city, every franchise, every roster, LeBron James has held the keys to the kingdom his entire career. That is, until the Slovenian sensation walked through the door. Look at the wreckage in Cleveland. During his first run, he was furious, claiming management was too incompetent to build a throne worthy of him. When he returned in 2014, he didn't ask, he commanded. Kevin Love was brought in because the King demanded a sacrifice. Even the coaches were expendable. David Blatt, fired mid-season in 2015 despite leading the conference, all to pave the way for LeBron's chosen one, Tyronn Lue. He weaponized 1+1 contracts like a sword, holding the franchise hostage to force win-now moves at the snap of a finger. And in Los Angeles, the nickname LeGM wasn't a joke. It was a title earned through absolute dominance. He forced the Anthony Davis trade, publicly shamed the roster for upgrades, and pulled the strings to get his own blood, Bronny, drafted into the league. Let's be real, that kid's jersey isn't hanging in the locker room without his father's shadow looming over the draft board. LeBron has spent 20 years writing the script. But this is the plot twist that broke him. Because management didn't just ignore him when Luka arrived. They committed the ultimate betrayal. They started treating Luka with the same reverence, the same gold-plated worship that used to be reserved solely for the King. The secret meetings, the media push, the body language on the court overnight, the crown was lifted from James's head and placed on Doncic. It got so volatile that reports surfaced of a heated confrontation. LeBron, face-to-face with the young star, demanding to know who really runs this city. We are talking about an argument that nearly turned into a brawl, forcing teammates to pick sides and a civil war brewing behind closed doors. They tried to keep the lid on it until the crack showed on national TV. A timeout. LeBron daps up a teammate but leaves Luka hanging in the cold. A deliberate public snub. This wasn't some rookie hazing ritual. This was a declaration of war, a classic power struggle played out in front of millions. For decades, LeBron has been the sun everything orbits around. He calls the plays, he steers the ship, he is the system. But now, there is a challenger who doesn't need to play politics. Luka isn't trying to steal the throne, he's taking it by simply being undeniably great. The youth, the adoration, the media obsession, every cheer for Luka is a chisel chipping away at the monument LeBron spent 20 years building. Inside the arena, the whispers are getting louder. Is this LeBron's team anymore, or are we witnessing the hostile takeover by Luka Doncic? This goes beyond rumors. We are watching a tectonic shift in power. In a league driven by ego and hierarchy, the foundation is crumbling. If you thought the trade was massive, wait for the fallout. The switch isn't just happening, it's accelerating. And believe me, once you hear how the locker room and even NBA icons are bowing down to Luka's greatness, you'll realize the truth. The tension between the old king and the new prince is about to explode, making the NBA more cutthroat and dramatic than anything we have witnessed in years. Man, Hollywood couldn't write a script this twisted if they tried. Since Luka Doncic arrived, the loyalty has shifted. Everyone, from the guys on the bench to the legends of the past, is tipping the scales toward Luka. Just look at Austin Reeves. After a massive victory, Reeves broke character. He admitted he rarely hands out praise, but he looked the camera in the eye and called Luka one of the absolute best to ever lace them up. He didn't stop there. He hailed Luka's leadership, his vision, his supernatural ability to elevate every single person wearing that jersey. Reeves basically sent a message to the world. Luka is the captain now. He's the one we ride into battle with. When you have a teammate acknowledging that level of genius, admitting that Luka makes the impossible look easy, the writing is on the wall. But wait, it gets even deeper. As the shockwaves of Luka's arrival spread, the icons of the game started weighing in. Allen Iverson, a man who never faked a word in his life, didn't hold back. On a podcast, he dropped this gem when asked who carries his torch. Who in the league reminds you of yourself? Everybody says Ja. Everybody says Ja. But what the hell is wrong with Luka? That man is a problem. And believe me when I say this, coming from a legend like that's not just a compliment. That is a coronation. Kevin also dropped a massive bombshell recently, claiming that Luka's arrival in LA basically handed LeBron a lifeline, buying him another 3 years on the clock. But stop and think about what that really means. What did Luka do for Bron? He didn't just bring assists, he brought time. He gave the king a 3-year extension on his reign. This is exactly the role LeBron was begging AD to take for years. He wanted him to say, I got this, big fella. Step back. But it never stuck. Now look at Luka. He isn't asking for permission, he's taking the keys. And what Kevin is pointing out here is subtle, but let's be honest, it is absolutely brutal. Forget the locker room whispers and the obvious power struggle. Luka's presence is rewriting the final chapter of LeBron's legacy in real time. Whether the king likes it or not, the fans are starting to pick sides, and the tide is turning toward Luka because he didn't just come here to win hearts with a smile. He came to burn down the old hierarchy. Every possession is a statement that the scoreboard belongs to him now, and the future of this franchise is already wearing his jersey. The analytics don't lie. Before Luka touched down in Los Angeles, the Lakers' offense was treading water. Manageable, sure, but completely stagnant compared to this. The second that trade went through, everything shifted. The tectonic plates of the entire league moved. Check the tracking data. It is staggering. The Lakers' three-point attempt frequency exploded from 34.3 to 42.3 per 100 possessions. We are talking about a rocket ship from the basement of the league straight to the top 3 in volume overnight. That is unheard of. That shift forces defenses to panic and stretch out to the logo, which plays right into Luka's hands. The paint clears, the floor opens up, and suddenly every shooter on the roster looks like an all-star. Make no mistake, this isn't luck. This is a complete system overhaul, redesigned from the ground up around one man's lethal skill set. It is no accident that the Lakers' offensive rating skyrocketed to 116.1 the moment he steps on the hardwood. He single-handedly dragged this offense out of the mud and into the top 7 in the entire Bachelor of Arts, but that is just the team dynamic. You want to talk about personal domination? Let's look at the monster numbers he is putting up. First game back against Dallas. The emotions are high. The crowd is hostile. What does Luka do? 19 points, 15 boards, 12 assists. A triple-double dagger right through the heart of his old team. That was career triple-double number 81. Can you imagine the sick feeling in the stomach of the Mavs front office watching that, realizing they just gave away a generational warlord? During this initial tear in LA, he is averaging nearly 28 points a night, pulling down 8.2 rebounds, and dishing out over 7.5 assists. And he is doing this while learning a whole new playbook on the fly. These numbers aren't just good, they are transformative. Luka demands so much gravity that guys like Austin Reeves and Jackson Hayes are looking like totally different players out there. Look at the analytics on the pick and roll. With Luka running the show, the efficiency spiked from a pedestrian 0.92 all the way up to a lethal 1.18 points per possession after February 2025. That means guys who looked average last year are suddenly feasting because defenses are terrified to collapse the paint the way they used to. That is the Luka effect. A direct ripple of chaos caused by having a magician controlling the tempo. So gone are the slow, clunky sets. Gone is the stagnant, predictable LeBron ISO ball. Now, it's spacing, it's execution, it's relentless pace. That shift forced the brass to make the hard call. This is a Luka first offensive identity now. There is no going back. Like one insider leaked, this wasn't just a trade. It was a hostile takeover of the team's entire operating system. Let's keep it 100. You cannot bet the farm on a 41-year-old icon whose twilight is knocking on the door. But with Luka, you have youth, elite production, and a guy dragging the metrics into the stratosphere. Management didn't just see a player, they saw the only path forward. This isn't a quick fix. This is a dynasty reboot. Luka is only 26 years old. He is starving for a ring. He hasn't even hit his ceiling yet. A franchise built around him is terrifying. It makes perfect sense why they pivoted so aggressively. If this was just about adding a star to the roster, we'd call it ambitious and move on. But this morphed into a full-blown identity crisis and a complete reboot of purple and gold basketball. If you ask me, the Lakers aren't just playing for seeding. They're constructing a new legacy, one that doesn't need the king to carry the crown anymore. Because with Luka at the wheel, this engine isn't just running, it's roaring. And right now, the debate is over. Put Luka Doncic next to LeBron James, look at the cold hard data, and tell me who the alpha is. Let's start with usage. Luka is commanding a staggering 33.8% of the offense. That means 1 out of every 3 plays dies or thrives on his fingertips. Meanwhile, LeBron's usage has plummeted to 28.8%. The system isn't leaning on him anymore, it's moving past him. The ball flows through Luka now, and it is moving with deadly efficiency. He's averaging over 28.2 points, snatching 8.1 rebounds, and dropping 7.5 dimes in 35 minutes a night. LeBron, he is sitting at 24.4 points, 7.8 boards, and 8.2 assists. Similar minutes, very different impact. Luka is maintaining elite true shooting efficiency while the entire defense collapses on him. LeBron simply cannot sustain that level of heavy lifting anymore. But hold on, because here is where the plot thickens. It's not just the dominance on the court, it is the shadow war happening behind the scenes that should scare you. The Los Angeles front office isn't just sending a message anymore, they are screaming it from the rooftops, and believe me, it is crystal clear. Rewind the tape to that tunnel moment we witnessed earlier. Did you see how LeBron and Luka walked off after the buzzer, and Rob Pelinka didn't even glance at LeBron, he followed Luka? You do not need a degree in behavioral psychology to decode that kind of disrespect. That is a raw power move. That is the general manager silently declaring to the world, this is our guy now. The king is fading, and we are moving on. LeBron knows it too. But you have to ask yourself, why does a simple walk down a hallway with Luka signal such a seismic shift? It is because the Lakers organization does not do subtle when they anoint a savior. Look at the dynasty timeline. Magic, Shaq, the Black Mamba himself. The second management decides who wears the crown, the entire machine pivots, marketing blitzes, roster construction, media narratives, right down to whose face is on the season tickets. The franchise bends its entire reality around the chosen one. And make no mistake, Luka is holding the scepter now. The evidence is undeniable. Reports confirm Luka is meeting with Pelinka constantly, mapping out rotations and the 5-year strategic vision. The marketing machine has quietly started erasing the old guard to spotlight the new prodigy. Check the promo blasts and social feeds. They are subtly branding him as the solitary face of the franchise. Whispers from deep inside the organization confirm the inevitable. The Lakers have officially entered the post-LeBron timeline, and they are executing the exit strategy. Pelinka practically admitted it on air, stating they are building the franchise's foundation around Luka for the next 10 years. Honestly, I cannot dream of a more lethal starting point to dominate the next decade of basketball. So, where does that leave the king? Did he really believe he would sit on the Iron Throne forever? Did he think the franchise would bow to him indefinitely? But hold on, because this is where the script flips and the tension in the locker room starts to boil over. Now that the front office has tipped their hand, LeBron looks like a man desperate to claw back his power before it slips away completely. You can see it on game night. He is fighting a war for relevance. He hijacks the ball, forcing the offense to run through him like it is 2016. Possessions that should flow effortlessly through Luka, the team's designated leader, are stagnating because someone refuses to let go of the reins. The passive aggressiveness is off the charts. LeBron is in post-game pressers, dropping subtle jabs about veteran experience, clearly taking shots at the new guy. We all know the routine. It is what I call front-runner leadership. It is theatrical. It is calculated. When the squad is winning and the ring is in sight, he is the ultimate teammate, glowing like it is 2019 all over again. But the second adversity hits, that is when the pouting starts and the defense vanishes. And it is not just the internal strife. The media vultures are circling and they are not letting LeBron off the hook. The moment that trade went down, the talking heads and rival players switched sides instantly. The question stopped being, can the Lakers make it work? It became a declaration. Luka is the undisputed face of the league now. We are witnessing a nightly separation of powers between the rising sun and the setting star. I believe Luka is about to unleash a level of play that proves he is the best player on the planet, bar none. Paul Pierce hit the nail on the head. The Lakers are essentially forcing LeBron to groom his own replacement live on national television. One ESPN analyst called this trade the most chaotic power shift in years, eclipsing even the legendary Big Three era. Yeah, the very same super team era LeBron himself architected. Now, the debates are raging. What is his legacy worth right now? Is he just a bridge, a wildly expensive placeholder keeping the seat warm until Luka assumes total command? The internet remains undefeated. Social media is ablaze with memes of Luka literally carrying LeBron, and the chants in the stadium are starting to echo Luka's name. Turn on the TV. Veterans and experts are obsessing over the future dynasty, completely glossing over LeBron's past accolades. They are dissecting Luka's international stardom, the merchandise frenzy, and how a young icon like him skyrockets the Lakers' long-term brand equity. But LeBron? He is becoming a footnote in his own building. The headline is Luka, always Luka. And here is where it gets explosive. This narrative shift has hit the fan base like a frag grenade in a crowded room. Laker Nation is in the middle of a civil war. And surprisingly, the masses are turning their backs on LeBron. It is ugly out there. From toxic comment threads to shouting matches outside the arena, it feels less like fandom and more like a bitter divorce. You have the Gen Z crowd, the digital natives, who have completely pledged allegiance to the Luka movement. They are flooding the timeline with highlight reels, deep dive analytics, and proclaiming him the savior of Los Angeles basketball. They are addicted to the swag, the lethal step backs, the no-look dimes, the aura. He is 26 and already dominating. To them, he is not just a hooper, he is the cultural zeitgeist. He is the sole reason they are swiping their credit cards for tickets again. But the shocker? Even the old school fans, the diehards who bled for Kobe, MJ, and the Showtime era are jumping ship to Team Luka. Why? Because Luka reminds them of a time when skill, fundamentals, and killer intensity mattered more than just athletics. They have seen this script play out before. They recognize a dynasty in the making, and they know exactly what the future of purple and gold is supposed to look like. We watched the holy grail of basketball pass from Magic to Kobe, then fade into the abyss for years. But now, Luka kicks down the door, and suddenly that championship electricity is crackling through the arena again. And that shift in energy, that is lethal for LeBron. Because history tells us one thing. Once the crowd crowns a new king, the front office always bends the knee. Kobe commanded an army. Magic led a movement. Shaq owned the streets. And right now, brick by brick, Luka is building that same undeniable empire. This isn't just hype. It is a fan base that is fully radicalized, betting it all on him because they see the undeniable truth on the hardwood. So when you stack up the media frenzy, the cryptic signals from management, and fans literally switching allegiances in real time, you realize exactly why the king is looking over his shoulder. This goes way beyond stats. He isn't just battling Luka for the ball, he is fighting a war against the entire city of Los Angeles. And let me tell you, that is a battle he is destined to lose. Which forces us to ask the brutal question, the one the networks are too terrified to say on air, but the streets are already screaming it. Is the LeBron era officially dead? Has Luka snatched the throne simply by being younger, faster, and infinitely more explosive? Are we watching a franchise that has silently shifted into a post-LeBron timeline while he is still wearing the jersey? Look at the evidence! From the promotional posters to the rotation changes to the way the locker room discusses the future, it feels like the Lakers have already turned the page. Here is the cold, hard reality the league can't suppress. Luka is the horizon, LeBron is history, and Los Angeles is deciding who survives. So I am putting the pressure on you right now. Pick a lane. Whose side are you on?